Hi, can you all hear me? Wonderful. What's up? I'm ready. I just also, once y'all are in, can I get a
Everything good, producer?
No.
No? Alright. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, we should be a top competitor.
Do you have a hotkey for muting the mic?
What, for my mic?
I don't know what I hit on the keyboard, but it muted your mic.
You muted my mic?
I unmuted it, and then it muted.
Uh-oh.
The stream can still hear psychic,
Well,
right?
I unmuted it, but
can they hear-
somewhere along the lines of me getting the Discord thing up, it muted. And
But
I don't
can-
know if there's a hotkey.
Can they? I don't know. I
Well,
don't
we might
think
have
so.
to
no.
turn that over.
Well, regardless, we're playing against Shawnee State. Can the stream hear psychic?
Yes.
Okay, good. We are against Shawnee State. As far as I'm aware, we should be able to win this match. We are a top competitor at GLEC. Meanwhile, Shawnee State, they did take our Rocket League game to a Game 4 and kind of disposed of us relatively easily. I will be checking the standings in just a moment. But as far as I'm aware, this should be a match that CSU are looking to take the dub in fairly comfortably, especially in this hero ban meta that we are currently in.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see a little bit more how Hero Band is going to influence the metagame. I'm just generally very, very excited to see how that's going to shake out. Last game we saw, a lot of this game is going to be a lot of Hazard, a lot of that Ender from Ender on Genji, I think. And I'm really, really excited to see how it begins to blossom as the season starts and begins to come into its own, for lack of better phrasing.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing to me is that for reference, OWCS Korea has just started up, and a lot of those teams are actually diverging away from Hazard. Some of it might be the hero ban situation, given the fact that Hazard isn't as strong. He's received a few nerfs to his block, to his leap, but some of the best teams in the world are moving away from Hazard, more over to things like Winston, Diva, Ball even is seeing playtime from, you know, specifically Mr. Baller himself, Junbin, but still, regardless of anything else, the tank meta is starting to open up a little bit, so we might be able to be re-entering that sort of flex meta that we used to be in. But at the same time, For those of you who are concerned or confused, the last meta right before Hazard came out was in fact a heavy Mauga meta, so we might be moving towards Mauga for this match. Really, it's one of 3 options: Mauga, Hazard, or Flex.
I'm definitely really excited to see how this goes. I think we just got our bans. It's going to be CSU banning Brigitte and Shawnee banning Genji. Now that Genji ban definitely stands out to me. That seems a little bit concerning given the fact of we have Ender on our team and that Genji is terrifying. However...
Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
However, I also am interested to see how that Brigitte ends up shaking out. If people are not going to, because we usually will see Brigitte paired with, a Juno. What do you think about it?
Give me 1 second, please. I gotta make sure that I'm not foolish.
We have to wait for a
My
second.
bad. I thought that I misread something. I'm back now. Yes, it is Samoa. Brigitte.
I do not have the right band.
It's Brigitte for Shawnee then?
I think they're redoing band. Okay, we're banning Mercy.
We're banning Mercy. Okay, so that's
Ignore everything we just
Ignore everything.
Everything I just said.
So also just a small aside, because we are very professional here, I would say to put the window projector that you're giving me to our remote caster, just so that we see the same thing.
Should have that up.
She was talking about the bands before I saw them, so you might be giving OBS itself to her.
I'm gonna stop streaming.
To Discord?
Yeah.
As long as she gets the window projector at
I
the very
might
least.
have put normal OBS.
But yeah, Mercy is not a very popular ban in the grand scheme of things for Overwatch. She is a character who's 100% of the time, whenever Mercy is banned, it is a protection ban. She's not a viable character in coordinated play. So when she's banned, it is to protect another support. This signifies to me that CSU are protecting either Lucio or Kiriko. Obviously, Irelia1 is best at Lucio. His Brigitte also is great, but his signature character is that Lucio. He's been grinding it out in ranked. Meanwhile, Muhiki, the arguable MVP for CSU, is best at Kiriko. So this ban makes sense to me.
Absolutely. Now, admittedly, as much as I would like to see Life Weaver as a defensive ban in the healing slot,
He is
that's
the
more
second
just
most popular.
I mean, he's really funny. Life Weaver finally found his niche, and it's getting banned.
I mean, it was seen quite often at Esports World Cup as well as Soup Cup. When you want a protection ban, support is the easiest role by far to protection ban because you have 2 characters you will never play who you can ban for protection, and they are Mercy and Lifeweaver. It's genuinely the only thing that they really contribute to the professional meta right now, but it is more than what they used to.
It's more than what they used to, which is a really interesting circumstance to be in. I definitely like how that kind of defensive Winston. Okay. No, we were talking about this earlier. That might be huge because that's going to mean that another one of the big contenders for tank is out of the pool. How do you think that changes people's counterplay?
I think CSU will be sticking to the Hazard composition. Some question marks might have been there, like maybe we see some Mauga, maybe we see some Winston. But I think with the Winston bans, CSU will want to stick to what they've been scrimming. They've been scrimming almost exclusively Hazard, except for the maps that they're scrimming where Hazard is banned, because these players have been wanting to play. That makes much more sense. I'm going to finish my point that teams have been wanting to scrim with bans more because it is official that it's a system. But banning Mercy's only map in the game, really, where she has any potential niche is Oasis, but I don't think that's a contributing factor to the Mercy ban. The Winston ban on Oasis totally makes sense. Winston's best map in the control pool is Oasis. He's viable on City Center as well as Gardens. His university performance subpar. But if you're going to ban an impactful character here as Shawnee State that will impact CSU, Winston is a good one.
Absolutely. Although, as you were saying, that might not come around to fruition as they might be expecting, given the fact that CSU has been scrimming a lot on Hazard. Now, I do have another question in relation to the Winston ban. Do you think this kind of unlocks any other tanks, given the fact of, like, a lot of Overwatch is that counterplay gameplay, that switch from one to another? Do you think that we could see... I'm trying to think who gets beaten out by Winston.
I mean, Zarya. Zarya is really the big winner when Winston isn't around, but you still have Reinhardt. Hazard is not great into Zarya, but it is a functional matchup. because Hazard is still so strong that he can bully his way through Zarya. But I think Zarya is really the biggest winner when Winston's out of the game, as well as D.Va. When you need another tank to fulfill that Winston slot, D.Va can work. Ball as well can work, but he fulfills kind of a different purpose. Realistically, though, the character who fills the same niche as Winston is Hazard. So this is more Hazard that we're looking at with this ban.
Fair enough. I definitely think that that is probably on the money. Although, Frank, I'm sad to have the monkey banned, I'll be honest. I'm a huge Winston defender, if it's not obvious.
Agreed. That's the character I've probably scrimmed the most on is Winston. If not him, then Lucio. But I do love that character. Will be going underway. The new shiny graphic that we have assembled here. Thank you to Mohiki. He was actually the one who did text changes, the little hero ban icons. All that was thanks to the big flex support for CSU.
The literal flex support in this case. Listen, it doesn't matter if the flex is, Kiriko or Juno, or Juno's a flex support, right?
Yep, Juno would be,
or Juno, or anybody else, or flex support in the production room.
Yeah, supporting flexibly. Yeah, this makes sense. Like
the number of times.
No, it just doesn't make sense. Hazard fulfills that same niche as Winston. If you're not going to be able to play Winston, you play Hazard.
Fair enough. I definitely think that is an apt description for it. I'm curious to see how this shapes out, given the fact of and I've been a really big fan of the hero bans so far, especially with the fact that you can do these kinds of defensive bans with how CSU tends to ban Mercy, where it is something that doesn't really interact with your game plan, but prevents you from being kind of banned in the way that Shawnee would probably want to.
Absolutely beautiful there from Elizu. Hazard's biggest strength is his close range DPS. As well as survivability, and you see that.
I'm looking at the ban screen right now.
Oh, you are?
I'm looking at the ban screen.
I don't know what's going on here, but the game has started. I'll pick up commentary until our producer can figure out what's happening. Elizu caught a little bit off guard, gets the retreat. FPS may be dropping, but that's because he is working on getting everything fixed. Mohiki with a teleport and Suzu into a bad position. They're punished. Shawnee stays able to find the positioning to make that one work. Elizu now without armors. Slim pickings, easy pickings there for him. Or front onto him. Ender as well, trying to go in for the trade. It was a slight misplay there from Mohiki that lost him that fight. Do we have you back, Psychic?
We do not. I feel like it's whenever you miss a day of school, everything cool had to happen back in middle school or whatever. And I feel like I'm listening to that, albeit it's more that you're just really good at making anything interesting, maybe. I'm a voice that is It's sorry folks for the technical difficulty. Alrighty, we are
I'm
in.
smart.
There's no audio.
Can you hear audio?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Oh, well, there we go. There is audio for our remote streamer.
And it's going to be CSU able to take the point. At about 43% has access to the Fox 2. Both teams have that on board. We're going to see the Hazard ultimate, that Downpour, coming up very, very soon alongside the Blade. We've seen CSU make some serious damage with Blade and Downpour before. Both tubes come out alongside the Blade, alongside. I was expecting the beat, but it's not on the table. CSU begins to push in with the tube Blade. And that's brutal. They're stuck in spawn.
Yep, just able to walk them into their spawn, give them a little bit of a hand, a bit of a boost. CSU, they had to use one more ultimate, but the longer that they can keep this offensive pressure, keep the advantage rolling, the happier they will feel. And if you see here, Elizu is in that sneaky spot to try to get the root onto Shawnee State when they're going through an angle. They might not scout him out, and there it is.
I like that play, especially if they're not going to be able to see him. Maybe a little bit of tunnel vision from Shawnee there, because the beat from CSU. Happy is off the table. Without the tank, you're probably not going to want to have to continue this fight, especially with your Lucio off. Oh, they have been... something that I noticed in the previous fight, they were able to take care of that Lucio before beat even came online, which was huge for them.
Yeah, that was a 2-ult fight, though, from CSU. Expect them to lose this one. They're going to play it fast. The overclock immediately out. They want to stuff this engage.
I'm liking it as much as it is using resources for something you're probably going to lose, especially with this beat blade. Like, yeah, you said it yourself. Like, this is the round that the fight. This is the fight they're going to lose. And as much as that's not what you want to see as CSU, it's definitely not the end of the world, especially at 95%.
Yeah, and you're more than content with that. Shawnee State panicked. They popped 4 ultimates, and now they'll be entering with nothing. Mohiki might be able to build up this ultimate first, and Happy is getting devoured by the CSU front line.
It's... admittedly, that's what you're supposed to be doing as a tank. You're supposed to tank up that damage, but when CSU is just absolutely shredding you, it's really hard to stay on your feet.
Bit of an isolation there onto Elizu. He needs that armor before he can go back in. The healing is here from Mohiki, but the Kitsune rush from Dot Bets. They're going to push CSU back. They're just going to wait this one out and re-engage with their own when ready.
I mean, that's the thing. If you don't use it to counter, you are going to have it online. No! It's going to be Mohiki immediately dropping the Fox Tube. CSU has their direct line onto the point.
This is crazy. Elizu accidentally blocked his own Kitsune rush with his spike wall.
No!
You gotta be careful with that ultimate, that ability. You can just stuff the Kitsune so easily. That's the most important ultimate in this composition, other than B.
Yeah. And I mean, like, frankly, they're incredibly important, but for entirely different reasons. Like, your beat is entirely for the sake of defensive purposes most of the case. Like, granted, you can be offensive with it, but, like, that rush is supposed to get you onto the point and get you rolling, but CSU might not quite need it, being able to take care of both the Fox and Dot Bets. Happy's the only one on the point, I think, and goes down. Overtime is clicking, but we still have somebody trying to hold on, but CSU is going to be able to clean it up.
It all comes back to that 4 ultimate fight from Shawnee State Rocks. The fact that they had used 4 ultimates, they weren't going to have any. They panicked. CSU made the right call to try to push into their spawn with the overclock, force those ultimates. They didn't have anything for the rest of the round, and CSU were able to out-ult rotate and build up their ultimates first. It's still a little bit hairy. It's still closer than I like to see. In particular, I feel like Mohiki's just kind of giving his life away one or two too many times.
I can definitely see that. I think I'm a big fan of, like, it genuinely felt like CSU was willing to kind of play the almost mental game against Shawnee when they were pushing into their spawn, forcing them to be like, okay, we need to get out of this situation now, burn everything. Which is, like, as much as Overwatch is at its core a shooter, I love that Overwatch is fundamentally a resource management game.
Go to early pick.
Incredibly early. That's terrible for Shawnee right now.
Smitty?
Happy getting shredded and off the table.
I'm not sure what happened to the Sojourn there for Shawnee State. Smitty kind of disappeared into the ether, fell off the map, and CSU are going to be able to, just get a quick cap going on here.
Might have been like a lag spike. Might have been just like a keyboard issue. Might have been something.
Something or other. Something happened.
Something definitely happened. Now, I will admit, given another game I can't reference directly, I'm not used to ultimates being reset. But CSU is in a very commanding position, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they just got to play the defense. They got to play to take time. Good peel there from Elizu to get Happy off of his backline and keep the pressure alive.
Absolutely, CSU continuing to hold the point here. Captain Jr. goes down to the opposing Sojourn. Ooh, alongside Mohiki. CSU in a little bit of a deficit here, going to probably have to take a second off of the point. Rotate off and go back onto it once they can. IRU1 goes down as Ender tries to prevent them from pushing into their spawn.
And now, this is actually, like, it's very difficult to commentate this as a color caster because it feels like things are happening in such an unorthodox way. The Moira coming out is very unique. It's not something very many teams prefer at all, since they're so important, the mobility is so important. But also it feels like people are losing their lives in ways that shouldn't be happening according to play.
It might just be a little bit of a comedy of errors. However, we are going to see the downpour into the or not into the blade. That's just regular Ender. Okay. The CSU begins to shred with the Fox Tube into the downpour to take the point again. 85% to into 40% into 38%. CSU taking it at about an equal percentage. The only ultimate online for Shawnee right now is going to be that overclock.
And importantly, both support ultimates were invested there by Shawnee. You never want to lap over your support ultimates with one another, and Shawnee immediately popped it. They're playing nervous right now against CSU.
I mean, how can you not? We've seen what CSU has been able to do. They are incredibly favored in a lot of these matches, and like, you're staring down a beast. If you're in the woods and you start seeing a bear, you're not going to start being like, okay, here's how I can win that. You're going to be terrified. You're popping your ult.
Unless it's a child, of course. Then you're considering your matchup.
You're not talking about a bear. If you see a bear come in the woods, you're leaving. You're running. You're not having
No, I'm talking about bear versus child. I'm saying if you're a child, you're considering your matchup.
Bear versus child. I'm talking about Shawnee versus CSU Vikings.
Well, Shawnee is a bear. Their logo is a bear.
I mean, I guess we have our answer to what bear versus Viking would be.
That is true, and it's seeming like the Viking reigns supreme right now. The downpour from Shawnee State will try to find something, but there's basically nothing left for them here.
I think the big problem here has been they're playing scared. And like, as much as like you can get some value out of like recognizing that you need to be playing in a little bit more of a different way, like, you don't play scared against the better team. You have to play smart against the better team. And if you can't get your nerves in check, you are kind of dead. And like, I don't want to be rude, but you cannot let yourself get hit with that mental.
No, like, it's so important to keep yourself on track. That's a beautiful Suzu. That is why you play the Kiriko right there, as well as the damage you see onto the Genji. You're seeing every part of the kit is shown, and this is why you play Kiri, the healing, the damage, the Kitsune Rush, the Suzu, everything. That's why you play Kiriko over Moira. CSU exemplified
she slices,
that
she dices, she blends, she heals, she does everything you could ever want in a character. I realized I cut you off there, but I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was talking to the producer, if I'm going to be honest.
Gotcha.
Map 1.
So how do you think Shawnee can adapt here?
I just turned it off.
Sorry, could you repeat that, please?
What do you think Shawnee has to do to adapt here?
So I think that Shawnee needs to play, like, they needs to take control of their nerves. And I don't necessarily even think that they're playing scared. It feels like they are being, there's a lot of unforced and forced errors that CSU are bringing to the limelight. It's generally coming down to the ult economy, where either it's lack of trust in the rest of the team, or, you know, lack of confidence that they can win the fight off of the ults they're investing, or even just lack of preparation. CSU's just playing at a tempo that Shawnee aren't matching, and they don't feel like they're prepared, and the nerves pop up. They use 4 ults. It's that ult economy being shown through the nerves.
And I mean, like, in my mind, that's playing scared. That is having a resource and dumping that resource and able to win a fight you could have probably won with a little bit less investment. That reads as scared to me, but I understand that there is a much different interpretation, and like, that is an important. How do you think Shawnee's going to adjust with their bans? Do you think they might shift over the Hazard? Do you think they might try and get something else off the table?
It's been made visible now what CSU are going to be playing for here. And their meta gameplay seemed to be ahead of what Shawnee was pulling out. If you're Shawnee, I think that your biggest advantage was the Soj play. I think that Smitty was playing quite well on the Sojourn compared to Junior, who was having a bit of a rough game. Not necessarily his fault. He was just generally the chosen target. But I want to see from Shawnee the bans onto the Hazard, the Kiri, the Lucio, targeting CSU's, you know, big 3, so to speak, in terms of the characters that I think really propelled them to greater heights there. Ender will pop off on anything. The Ana ban here is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that Kiriko. It shows me that Shawnee might be reliant on the Kiriko themselves, or concerned about the meta. It could be a protection ban, could be a multifaceted ban. Not a fan of the Ana ban from Shawnee after what we just witnessed, but
I think I'm in the same boat as you.
We're seeing Mauga. I think Shawnee's playing Mauga here.
Ooh, okay. I'm still on the ban screen.
Yeah, no. I am too, but I'm making the bold prediction because the Kiriko from Muhiki was clearly a bit of an issue. He wasn't playing perfectly. We've seen him play better, but clearly that's one of his better characters, and you want to get that out of the way. But the character who does especially well into Mauga is Ana, thanks to Biotic Grenade and Sleep. and Nano Boost, preventing Mauga from healing as much on the enemy tank. Ana's a perfect counter to Mauga. Banning that, especially on New Junk City, one of Mauga's absolute best maps, signifies to me, at the very least, we're seeing the big man come out.
I think I agree with your logic. However, I think it would be really funny if we just got into the match and we did not see Venture.
See, that signifies to me that CSU kind of agrees with me. The Venture is the most popular, or one of the most popular DPS picks with Mauga. You generally see Reaper, Echo, Venture, and Sojourn, and sometimes Genji. Banning the Venture signifies to me that CSU is anticipating a Mauga, but doesn't want to ban the Mauga because they think they can beat it. They just want to ban the most problematic teammate for Mauga into the composition that they're playing.
I see now. The choice. Do you think that it would have been a better, or how do you feel about this in comparison to the choice to just straight up ban Mauga?
I mean, it's a bit more of a power play to ban the Mauga. It's a bit more strategic. If you think Shawnee is a threat, you ban the Venture. If you think that, you know, you want to take the mirror head on, you ban Mauga and you say you are playing on my terms. Wake up. But they might also not have the same read as I do, right? They might have a Venture player specifically in their back pocket. They might have a VOD footage of Shawnee playing, you know, the Hazard Venture variant, which is a very rare variant, but it is one with a niche. So
I mean, I don't know if I've ever been on an adventure that didn't have hazards, but it was right there.
It was right there. I'll give it to you. But with the Venture band, that does make things a little bit more complicated if you want to play the Mauga. And maybe CSU don't have that read. Maybe I'm cooking too much with the read on the Mauga, but, you know, only time will tell by the time we get into the map.
I mean, I think that if you're wrong, it's because you were giving them a lot. Like, I think that you are very well thought out in this. I think that, like, in the case where it is the Mauga, this is what we would want to see. If it's not the Mauga, this is a misplay. Or a misdirection, I guess. Actually, misdirection bans kind of go hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's very risky to go for something like that because generally you're just expected to just play the meta, and the meta is very maybe stagnant, I guess is the word I'm looking for here. You play specific heroes, and if you try to go for a misdirection ban, it's like, okay, we'll just play meta and beat you again.
Ramatra? No, I learned my lesson. I'm not commenting on characters until the round starts.
Yep. At the very least, wait for the waiting for player screen to end before you make any bold predictions.
I see characters pop up and my brain's like, oh, they picked a character.
I want you know, I would always pick ball in the waiting for heroes screen just to mess with casters every time. I think that you are going to some sort of afterlife that is not pleasant. Queen also fits the same build that I was talking about for Mauga. It's the same general style. Queen is a little bit less reliant, I would say, than Mauga on the Venture. You see a Queen variant that's very similar to what CSU is playing with the Hazard, because Hazard and Queen are very similar. So the Ana ban makes sense for Queen as well, because she's so reliant on the bleed healing.
I see. Yeah, because like that would prevent you from getting antied. I'm more just trying to pick up on what they're doing here. I feel like as much as like we do typically see, I don't know, you got kind of shredded by Muhiki in the previous round, and I feel like playing another tank that just dies to Suzu is a little bit concerning, but like it's not a bad play. Like this character is really good on New Junk.
Yeah, I mean, it is her city after all. The Queen in her home, a fade, the dive into the back line for Shawnee State, but it seems like CSU are able to repel, able to survive for the moment.
Point opens up with CSU currently taking it. Alizu diving into the team, enemy team, trying to block a lot of damage here. Does not have the armor right now, just trying to hold on to the point. Jumps back up, takes care of this Lucio alongside Muhiki, getting a pick on the Tracer. There's the Genji, and like when you're 3 players down, you can't be staying in these fights.
What you saw there is that's exactly why you play Hazard. It's his damage. You saw it was Hazard does have a one-shot combo on 225 HP targets. It's very tight, but you can execute it. But you saw an attempt at it from Alizu onto the Fox. Didn't quite find it, but generally Hazard's damage is so strong, it's why you play him.
I mean, look, say what you will, he is a hazard.
Yeah. Quite literally, he's aptly named by the developers.
I'm directly in the middle of the enemy team here. Alizu at 94 to downpour. Happy goes down. Really bad for Shawnee.
I think he just kills two. He just walks up and is like, yeah, I got this. Takes down a pair. That's the end of the round. Or at least end of the point. They're going to be moving on to the next one. Going to predict Junkyard. No reason for it. Just guessing.
All right, let's see. Are we right? Are you right?
No, it was Arena. They're moving over. At least I think. No, that
Refinery.
Refinery.
Just finished
Sorry.
Arena.
Yeah, no, I'm daft.
Listen, you know how I feel about proper names.
Yeah, you are quite hateful after all. This is
I am
a really
really
nice
angry.
assassination attempt, guerrilla warfare.
Oh my. Oh no. I'm trying to say something clever, but all I can come up with is oh no.
Guerrilla warfare is what that was. Hiding out, popping out right when the time is right. It's a fairly low impact ultimate. You're only going to be getting about, 10% more than you would have if you had waited on that, but still, the winning that fight is so high value, and taking them off guard with that Kitsune Rush when you know you have the first ultimates. I think
it really shows CSU's flexibility to be able to do guerrilla warfare without a monkey in sight. Granted, he was banned last round, but they can still pull it off.
I think you might be banned next with all these puns you're throwing out. It's a big day for you, isn't it?
It's a big day for me. And like, look, CSU's winning. The unfunny jokes are flowing. I'm happy. Especially with CSU winning yet another fight. It has really felt like they have been the beatdown in this matchup.
It's another fight, though, that Shawnee State layer the support ultimates. Alisu just going to walk right in, get his one. The Lucio stood no chance.
Hazard.
He's just... This character's so nuts, man.
I
love it. I think it's...
Hazard feels...
I think it's great for the health of the game to have a character like Hazard, as much as some people may disagree. He's a lot more healthy than a character like Winston, or not Winston, Roadhog or Mauga. Yeah. Speaking of which...
Okay, we're going to see the pivot. No venture to cover, but...
I mean, you'll be fine. This was actually a similar variant to what was meta right before the release of Hazard. It was Echo Reaper. So the Sojourn kind of fulfills that same type of niche, where it's a mobile second DPS who covers your angle control. Reaper more so being the frontline pressure. So Shawnee State's composition, not too bad.
Absolutely. Well, bad composition, but it's bad looking down the rest of CSU's barrels, and that is going to be huge. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to Cleveland, Shawnee. This is what you get.
I don't know what to say. Only in Cleveland.
It's the Mauga is generally what I expected coming into this map. I will say though, Hazard is an amazing matchup into Mauga.
I think that might have been I was trying to look for what the downpour did, but I don't know what I saw or if anything happened.
It forced some cooldowns to split the team.
Okay, it was
still punishing.
Yeah. Okay. When I don't see kills, I have to ask somebody else what happened.
They're just waltzing into the spawn right now. They do not care. I made the joke earlier, take them down, go home. I think they took that literally.
They're boxing them in. This is...
They're forcing Coalescence in their spawn. They're beating them while they're here. They can just pop whatever they want, but they are running low on ultimates.
Running low on ultimates, but the only ones that are coming up for Shawnee State recently are going to be that Death Blossom and the Beat Drop. And, like, granted, those are powerful ultimates, but, like,
they're not
really
going to
want
touch.
to use your Beat Drop to get out of spawn?
They do get a touch, but CSU's still winning the fight. It's written on the wall here. Ender's going to be able to touch the point and win the 1v1 against the Frog, assuming he doesn't die to it. And the Ajax as well. That is one of the most brutal rounds I think I've ever seen. This is a speed run on the way.
Shawnee's... I don't like being mean on stream, but CSU is just... Shawnee isn't getting to play the game.
I mean, it's a situation that you see relatively often with the GLEC region. it gets worse than this, significantly worse than this, where you just got teams that are outmatched sometimes.
What's
It's
up?
nothing you can do about it.
Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail, I guess.
Sometimes there's a very big hammer, and you are a very, very small and fragile nail.
Yeah, that is the circumstance. And see, you are a very fragile nail against a very, 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 very big hammer. Albeit with no Reinhardt, so can't really be that big of a hammer.
More of like a pocky stick than a nail in this case, I'd say. You know the pocky sticks, the little...
You know the hydrogen bomb coughing baby image?
That also works, yeah. I think that's better than
also.
hammer and pocky.
Yeah. Now, going into this third round, what do you ban if you're Shawnee here? Like, what is your dream?
Your dream is to get done with this and go home, I think. As much as you said before, you're not trying to be disrespectful. I ain't trying to be disrespectful. I'm trying to be honest. If you're Shawnee, you don't have much you can do at that point. Your mental is shot. You gotta hope that you can cheese a map away, if anything else. But you just lost on Flashpoint, which is a map type that you can generally see. There's some cheese options you might be able to go over. If you want to play Malga, your options are slim pickings at this point. Maybe Clash, maybe Hanoaka is a decent one for you here. Push is okay for Melga, but generally we saw the best Melga map in the game, arguably in New Junk City, and it did not work. So if you're Shawnee State, you look into either try to rematch on meta or find another way.
Whip out the Life Weaver, baby.
Hey, I don't know about all that. But
When all else fails, just play something good. And by good, I mean funny. And by funny, I mean Life Weaver.
good for the heart. Good for the heart.
Good for the heart. Listen. Every time I see Life Weaver doing that DreamWorks face, he's Life Weaver, dude. You can't hate Life Weaver. He's Life Weaver.
I think that you can't go for a protection ban here if you're Shawnee State. You have to go for an aggressive ban. Runasapi makes sense here. If you remember, Rox, we have seen the Wrecking Balls and Yada duo pulled out here in the past by CSU. I think after that last map, we might be seeing it again from them, just based on how confidently they're playing right now.
Listen, if this got capped off with ball gameplay, you have no idea.
I'd be happy too. Don't worry, I got an idea.
Do
we not have a hazard? There's no way we don't have a hazard.
60% of the bans.
It would be 8. Well,
I read this guy.
what do you mean you read the schedule wrong?
I thought I was supposed to come in at 4. I didn't see the thing at 2.
Well, we do have the remote caster
Yeah, I saw
right
that.
now, so you can do clips if you want.
Alright.
Hey, y'all are still on mic, by the way.
That might fix it. Yes.
Did they ban hazard? Okay. So, unfortunately, there's no hazard icon, so we can't have the hazard ban on screen, but recognize that Shawnee State banned the hazard, I'm assuming?
Yes.
All right, Shawnee banned the hazard. Just so we are all on the same page. Just put the word
Listen.
hazard on, I guess.
All I'm saying is that That's a tank ban, and it isn't ball.
That is true. That is true. CSU cannot possibly even ban ball for themselves at this point.
Alizu, if you can hear me from the booth, if you can sense my psychic energy from, or not, I'm not even on the booth, but you know what I mean. Kiriko. That's a healer that isn't Zenyatta.
I was about to say.
Alizu, if you hear my plea, I beg of you, show us the wrecking ball.
Initiating match.
I'm scrolling through the Overwatch wiki right now to try to find the icon that we don't have. What about, maybe there's a cute hazard. Maybe we just have to use cute hazard. There's no cute hazard.
Just put like one of those wet floor signs.
Oh.
That'll work.
Oop, oop, oop. And I oop.
It's been a while since was that like 2021? 2022?
Something like that.
I haven't heard
and
in forever.
Oh, come on, man! Wrong team!
You look like
No, there's a life weaver on the screen. They're messing around.
Something tells me Shawnee, though, are deathly serious with this character selection.
Good to see you.
We're seeing a Mercy.
The most
5, 4, 3, 2.
Dude, that's because you're pressing spacebar. You never press. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. They're doing it. They're doing the light weaver.
Oh my! Listen, I gotta see. Okay, as much as I'm sad to not have ball on our team, the life weaver is kind of peak.
Life weaver Malga. That is a new one.
Area denial.
It's not the worst in the world because look at this. Elisa can just do this, and then I really one can just go for the grip, pull him away, get him to safety.
Definitely. Oh yeah, actually, that seems interesting.
let us move the barricade.
That is the problem, though, is that a lot of interesting synergies Life Weaver could have. Those grips are just not necessarily what you want. You want something that'll sustain the fight, not get them out of it.
Yeah, it's.
And I really
Life Weaver
didn't.
Life Weaver has kits and has like things to do, but like. You're gambling to lose, not gambling to win. You're gambling to lose less than instead of gambling to win more.
CSU, though, they're pushing the cart this whole time. Ender was on that and gets his head taken off.
Enemy spotted.
I mean, listen, sometimes it just happens.
Ball.
Sometimes people's heads just do that.
Elisu's on the ball. Confirmed.
Let's go, babe. Okay. Okay, this is peak. Okay, this is peak. It's Life Weaver and ball.
He got it. He got the Sojourn somehow as well. This guy, he's got two. That's ball-in time.
Listen, all I'm saying is this is what they're making Space Jam 3 right now, and this is what it is.
So, I've been looking back at some CSU clips over time, and there's one or two that like I'm looking at of like when I played on the team and when I played ball, and it's like that's not that impressive. Watching Elizu, he's hitting some pretty sick ball techs. There's one where you jump on a wall right as you're impacting it, and it gives you a vertical launch. What he just did, that's a very difficult one. Keep that one in mind.
Do you think Alizu picked up ball and then had like that you know the Ratatouille scene where like he eats the food and then has the flashback?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like it's a hamster pulling on his hair to make him play better.
Oh no, I was gonna say like I feel like Alizu. I can't prove anything, but in my mind, the image of picking up ball and then having like that flashback to Bakugan. God, remember Bakugan? That was forever ago.
Bakugan's a crazy.
It was so
throwback.
crazy. It made Marvels cool.
Knock them off the barricade.
I mentioned Bakugan and we immediately went silent in the booth.
Sorry, I brained for it. I'm just like,
No, you're good. How did you follow that up? It's not your problem.
how do I follow up Bakugan? Bakugan doesn't even know how to follow up Bakugan. There hasn't been new Bakugan in a bazillion years. I really want is now on the break, by the way. No more Weaver.
No more Weaver. No more funny.
Still ball. Still very funny.
This ball is still here.
Good bash there from the Fox, engaging, entering the battlefield, and the minefield from Elizu will hold some space. Beautiful block there onto the rail there from I Really Won.
Was that a trade?
It's some trades.
A lot of trading happening.
Elizu's finding some pressure. This is just a weird game to cast.
No, yeah, this has been really hard to cast because like normally these games kind of have like a structured. This has felt like a very unstructured game.
Yeah, that's what happens though when it's in GLEC. Again, no disrespect to anybody. The teams are just such a different level from each other that it can be difficult to really find things to say at times.
Yeah, it's like I'm sure that like Shawnee will place well for like where they are, but like you're facing CSU. This is Cleveland State University. This team is crazy.
Respect to the big mans and Cleveland State. CSU still do have the lead. They also got forward spawns yet again, so even if they start trickling some players to the afterlife, they'll be able to return quickly.
Ouch, that's gonna be a pulse bomb on Captain Junior.
Good Bionade there. We'll be able to trade backlines a little bit and end up boost as well until I Really Won will keep him alive. Massive chunk of damage came out of nowhere though, getting him cut from the fight in minefield. CSU still want to commit for the moment at the very least, but 123 HP in a dream, just about. Elizu can't last much longer.
I honestly really like the minefield. Just even the fact that I think it stays even after ball dies.
Yeah.
It effectively means that like you have a little bit of cover even though that you can't be there.
That's true. He did live though somehow. The ball is balling, but he's also getting blown up.
His deaths are greatly exaggerated as CSU, ouch, loses Ender to the overclock.
Yeah, I mean Sojourn's fully charged rail is still a one-shot headshot on Tracer, just about. So that is something to be concerned with. The Tracer forcing the recall there. CSU getting pressured quite a bit, forced back into the respawn.
Shawnee doing a little bit of motion. They've got the robot currently and have been playing pretty well for this round.
Yeah, they're putting up a lot more of a fight than they did on New Junk City, although New Junk City was a bit of an outlier there in terms of high hazard in the top right, if you can see that.
High hazard.
No, it is functional. We now know,
in fact,
that hazard was banned. And also, by the way, the little crosses are not visible as well for the dance signifier. That is a beautiful roll through. This Mercy's dropping low with that bash gone as well. At least we can keep on spinning.
You saw that. Like, I understand that, like, that's what ball does, okay? Yep. Sure. Just rapidly spinning in the same area is so funny.
It's great. I love ball. Just every part of it. That's an interesting minefield. It'll actually lock out dot bets from going back to their team. Basilisk as well, kind of trapped here as Ender handles the bot all alone.
Reach the pivot to Juno? We thought we were seeing an Ana earlier, but now we got Juno.
Yeah. The compositions are just a little bit too fast, I think, to keep on the Ana. You're not able to keep the Ana alive if you're I Really Won here. You just go to the Juno.
Yeah, that makes sense.
A little bit of bot contest here as I Really Won did get the Mercy. They can keep on pushing, get themselves back on track, and there is certainly, if nothing else, balling.
That's score my comfort tank.
Oh, no way. Okay.
No,
gets back in spawn.
Can't do that to people.
Touch the spawn door as well, by the way. Yeah, the level of disrespect is climbing immensely as the game goes on. Look at Ender!
Oh no. Oh no. Oh my
Look at Ender!
Let's look, you're solid up in here.
You got the box tech, you're right. That's the minefield there, as well as the overclock from Captain Junior. Orbital Ray sealing the fates of Shawnee State. They try to pull the bot a little bit further away, but on this day, it's dismay for the Shawnee State.
I'm thinking of that one Simpsons clip. It's like, stop, he's already dead.
I mean, they were putting up a bit of a fight, so there is still a chance.
No, absolutely. Like, they were putting up a fight, but, like, this is not where you want to be in the slightest. Especially with a minefield in your spawn.
CSU are just dumping ults. They've gotten like 20 kills and then respawn. Shawnee State are still putting up a fight. The recall force there. Happy is back on the ball yet again, maintaining that character select. Fastest generally for the respawn. Enter wants his turn on touching the spawn doors.
Yeah,
there's not
that's-
much more they can do.
It's a little bit curtains. It's a little bit Jover.
They had to win effectively like 5 fights sequentially inside of the enemy team spawn. And, you know, that's one of the faster games I think that we've ever had here at CSU.
I don't know if I can agree with that. Most of our fast games come from payload if we can hold them at 0.
I mean, that was only about 7.5 minutes on push, and the average payload is about 5 minutes if we're really moving quick, but 6 minutes generally. So only about a minute or two off of real speedrun territory.
I will admit, fastest for our push games, but like I still think that payload has always felt very quick if they're held at 0.
The match overall, all 3 maps, I think, that was one of our quickest.
That was very, very quick. Thank you, Shawnee, for having a bit of a match, but sorry that you had to look CSU in the eye.
And we will be right back. I'm going to grab a player for a quick interview.
Thank you so much. We will be right back with that.
Welcome back, everybody. Gonna scooch over just a little bit to give you more space. Welcome back, everybody. Time Monster here, joined by Captain Junior, the hit scan player for today's match. How are you feeling after that 3-0 victory?
Feeling good. I mean, we managed to just play very well. We did struggle a little bit here and there with some fights in the first match, but we kind of figured it out towards the end.
Yeah, Oasis, you guys gave me a bit of a fright because you were actually like in contention to lose both rounds of Oasis. How are you guys feeling like going into it? I'm sure you were expecting to win quite handily. Were you guys flustered at all?
Not really. We were just trying to reorganize our game plan where we can actually just manage to win the fight better.
And on map 2, I saw that Ana ban, and immediately my mind went to Mauga. Immediately. Did you guys have that same reaction when you saw the Ana ban?
Not really. No, we didn't really expect it. But I guess it didn't really make much of a change.
That's true, but you know, it could be a bit nicer about it.
I'm gonna be mean about it.
No, that's fine. Okay. One last question before I send you off. How do you feel that hero bans are influencing the current like meta, especially like for you guys, your matches? How do you feel about hero bans as a player?
I feel like it's kind of good because it at least lets us play different comps where we can work around like a bunch of different strategies. It really depends on the map also, so you have like Dorado on Winston, then like the whole point of Winston for that map. So
Yeah, you
now
just
we
gotta
play something else.
back to Hazard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining for the interview, Junior. We will be back in about an hour and 6 minutes. You guys really did that quick, huh? For some collegiate Valorant on the main channel. We will have some collegiate League of Legends on the secondary channel. Thank you for the interview, Junior. Thank you for joining us for the cast. Psychic, have a wonderful hour.
A good one, guys.
Going to collect BRB.
There you go.
Lovely.